Okay, so today we're having another look at the Presonus Faderport 16. I've done a bit of work behind the scenes on this script for FL Studio, and things are looking a little bit tidier now. Quickly run through faders all working as they should. Don't know how many I can move at once. I'm probably messing up my mix here, but never mind. Transport, as you'd expect. Pause or stop. Forward, you can probably just see the song position pointer moving when I do that. Selecting tracks, again as you'd expect. Muting tracks and clearing mutes with the mute clear button. Soloing tracks, same applies. Solo clear. Arming tracks, well, obviously got some pre-armed there, but it's just a question of selecting what you want. You can clear them all with that. Banking, I've managed to get it banking as it should, which is 16 tracks at a time, so you'll probably see, if you can see the displays jumping up 16 tracks at a time and then back to 1 to 16. You can do that with the knob as well. Let's go back to 1 and channel by channel as well. So that's the guts of it. There's a few other little bits and pieces. You can bring up the time code in the last 4 segments there, and that works fine. Start that going, you'll see it. The frames jumping by that. Panning on the selected track. You'll probably see I'm going right and left. Oh, and the other thing is, if I bring up the larger display here, I'd like to have this positioned usually somewhere useful. You actually get a bit more of an idea, percentage panning left or right, and the same with the volumes as well. Gives you a decibel reading as well as you get obviously the visual feedback of the fader itself. Sends, I think, are working okay. I don't know whether you can see, it's the classic little stringy line when I'm selecting 2 other tracks there to connect them or disconnect them. Plug-in support. Before we do that, actually, let's select a track that I know has plugins. There's a couple on guitars. No, there isn't, because that's a different track I'm playing with now. Let's have a guess. Plugins on it. Right, so you've got 3 there. You can see on the screen here you've got Fruity Delay, Fruity Phaser, Fruity Delay B. I can change the volumes of those. Now that's not working properly, so there's something to look at. So let's say that plugins aren't working properly on the Faderport 16. I may be able to do a bit more work around that, we'll have to see. But all in all, most of it's working quite well. The function buttons are working. I can't remember off the top of my head what each of these are doing. Let's see if we can see what's happening on the screen. That's not immediately obvious to me. Oh, there's the counting, look. Markers. I haven't checked to see if markers are working or not. And I haven't got markers on this track, so I can't show you that. That's probably something you want to explore yourself a bit. But I think the point I'd like to make with this video, certainly if you've seen the poor support really for FL Studio, particularly with the layout of the banks, you've now got from 1 to 16 instead of the other way around, basically, which is the default, which is obviously makes sense. You've got banking up 16 tracks at a time, which is obviously what you want with a 16-track mixer. And all the basic mixer functionality that you're going to be using most of the time is working well. The bits and pieces, the knobs around the side and some down here, they would need a bit more work, but in all honesty, I certainly don't. It's a minority of your time that you're going to be using those, and obviously you've got the alternative of using FL Studio itself, either with a touchscreen or with a mouse. So I'll say again, if you've got FL Studio, this is a nice control surface, but probably not the best control surface. It's really designed by Presonus for their own software, and they don't designate support for FL Studio, and they have limited support for some of the other DAWs. I think I've seen a video of somebody demonstrating Cubase, and I think we probably may have slightly, maybe got to that point or slightly surpassed it with what we've got now on FL Studio. So pretty good going. More can be done. It's just really a question of putting the time into the script itself to make progress. But it's certainly workable now, and if I only had the Faderport 16, I could quite happily use it with FL Studio, and it's a nice controller. It looks nice, and it's nice and compact. So I think that's all I want to say about it. Feel free to leave any comments or ask any questions, and thanks very much for your time.